well, I'm evil, I've gone off into the world, and the devil's got control of my heart, they would be told something like that.
In a bid to gain access to his children, Andy has arranged a meeting with his local priests.
Well, the house we're just coming up to is the house of Stuart McIntyre, who's the leader of the Brighton meeting. He's quite a forceful character, but I think I know him well enough not to be too scared of him.
In order to keep a record, Andy is using a concealed camera.
I'm the builder that works for us.
That's all right.
Staying away from you.
Okay.
Come on in.
Come in. Let's see. How's it? The main reason for coming out, I just wanted to talk to you about the children.
Yeah.
I feel I really need to see them again.
Why don't you find your children by finding the law again?
I don't think I could return to that.
I accept fully that you were treated about as rough as you could be treated.
Mm.
But at the moment, what you're raising is a very serious matter, and we want to protect those your children.
You see, the devil's got hold of you. You might think it's different, but if you see what God did at the cross, go over and over and over it, I think you'll find your position is absolutely untenable.
Well,
It's a selfish way, isn't it, really, Andrew? I mean, that is basically the issue, is selfishness, isn't it? That you want to do, you want your own way.
well, at the moment I just want to see my children.
Eh?
At the moment I just want to see my children.
And your children want to see you, but they want to see you right.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh well.
we'll do what we can, and we'll pray, and you just think over what Derek and we've said tonight.
Oh well.
Just go over things and see
Right.
whether really you have lost your link with the Saviour.
Yeah. Oh well.
Okay.
They did promise to look into it, and they said they will get back to me, which I was actually quite pleased with that result, because I was expecting a downright refusal to cooperate with any attempt for me to see the children without me going back to the Brethren.
4 months after that meeting, Andy receives a letter from the elders refusing him any contact with his children.
I just want them to know that they have got a father who cares for them and loves them. And I would love it if eventually some of them had the guts to leave themselves.
The insider keeps up his double life, attending meetings and secretly emailing worldlies outside. July 2001. An email message brings news to Dick Wyman in Minnesota and to Jill Mitten in London. The insider's computer has been discovered. He's under pressure to give it up or face ejection. But the insider makes contact.
Hi, Dick. I get very depressed about it all.
But it's got to be settled soon. In the meantime, I must be more tense than I know because I have headaches most days. It won't be long before I'll willingly go to the slaughter, just to stop the continual grinding down.
We need to get them sorted out before we move.
Expulsion from the Brethren tore the Wallach family apart. Today, they're picking up the pieces, but there are family members still inside.
I can't believe you used to wear it either. Nobody got away with those tights.
I've become a completely different person. That's one reason why I
I like to dress differently. I've had my hair done differently, because I have to be somebody completely different and leave the past behind. Otherwise, I'd be forever dwelling on what happened. You know, I had to break free of it to be able to rebuild our lives together as a family.
Is there anything you want to keep? I'm a bit of Romany gypsy, didn't I? My earrings. Fancy going across the road to the pub.
It started when their sons, Neil and Rob, were mixing with worldly people in a local pub.
They were the ones that, in Brethren language, originally transgressed, going to pubs and late-night clubs. And they were the ones that were initially seen as ringleaders, even among the young boys and teenagers in the Brethren.
And unfortunately, they came home one Saturday night in an inebriated state. It was actually early in the early hours of Sunday morning, and there was no way we could have taken them to the communion service at 6 o'clock, and so the whole thing was blown wide open at that point. And the Brethren told us by the Tuesday night that we were shut up, and that's really it was that 5 minutes when they knocked on the door and told us that changed the whole of our lives. Everything has changed from then on. It took us a while to adjust. You can imagine, among the Brethren you have a very wide social circle, and within 5 minutes we had nobody.
Feelings of guilt really started with splitting the family apart completely, because there was only me and Neil at home, and the rest of the girls were still at the meetings, and they couldn't talk to us if they saw us in the street.
Well, I started getting involved with drugs and stuff like that, and ended up in prison a couple of times.
He got into it through being in jail and being with those sort of people, and it was there in front of me. So I took it.
Christine and Andrew were desperately trying to help their two sons get off drugs. They called on the support of the Brethren, but the leadership told them that they could only return to the Brethren if they disowned Rob and Neil.
Well, the way they put it to us would have meant that we would have been free, but the boys would have been anywhere. And it wasn't acceptable to us.
We were being torn in two halves. We had to try and decide which half of our family we were going to be with.
These were people that we'd grown up with and followed the same code of practice for 50 years. To us, it hardly seems Christian.
They have been reconstructing their family. 3 of their daughters left the Brethren and came home, but 2 more remained inside.
It's a tremendous emotional shock to be outside of that protected environment and have to make your own decisions. You might think it's freedom and it's marvellous, but to begin with, it's a you feel very, very insecure, and it does take quite a while to adjust to actually having the freedom to make your own decisions.
Well, I think that the Brethren's attitude to family life is hypocritical, because they say so much about the family, but they are seen to break up families. They claim that they don't, that it's the truth that makes the division, but there isn't the encouragement and the support for families to be reunited.
No, we've lost our daughters. That's probably the single most dreadful thing we've lost. And our grandchildren. Which is something that we shall never really come to terms with. We have to accept it. But it's something that will be with us. It's like a living death.
They knew full well that their actions would eventually lead them away from the fellowship. I think that would be very fair to say that. It's my job, as it is with Garths and Gordons, to represent the spirit of the gospel to these people who have lost their way. When someone goes out of fellowship, as you all know, it's a major change for them. They're not equipped for the world. Therefore, we like to help them, and as I say, and protect them.